Hi, it's Therese, and I've got a video that I'm sharing at the Waffle Flower Crafts channel. Today we're going to be making a card, and I'm going to be sharing a really simple way to create a multicolored die cut. So this is a really intricate die from Waffle Flower Crafts. It's called Make a Fish, and it's heaps of fun, but there's so many tiny little pieces. Now, what I've done here, and this is one of the easiest things you can do, is I've actually die cut the whole design out of white cardstock. So this is a really nice smooth white cardstock because I'm going to be using my Copic markers today to add colour. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. At the moment, I'm just making sure that I get every little piece of the die cut and keep every little tiny little piece from within the die cut, just in case I want to keep them and inlay them, because that's the wonderful thing about this die cut, is you can make it as intricate and as fun as you want, or you can pretty much keep it really simple, and you can actually die cut it with lots of different coloured cardstocks and mix it up and match it up, and that will be heaps of fun as well. But today the technique that I'm sharing with you just shows a little cheats way of getting that multicolored look without having to do lots of die cutting. So what I'm simply doing is adding my colour by using my Copic markers, and the big benefit of this is that I can actually add some shading as well. I don't have to just have, if you use coloured cardstock or design paper, you're pretty much obligated to use those colours, although you can mix them up and change them up with Copic markers as well. Like, you can actually colour your cardstock, your coloured cardstock, or your design paper with your Copic markers, or even with pencils. This is just an easier option for me anyway. Now, my blending wasn't particularly good in the body of my fish, but I wasn't actually too worried about that because I know that a lot of it's actually going to be covered up and it's not really going to be noticeable. But you could be as pedantic as you want here. One of the great things too is that I can actually, if I was die cutting these flowers out of some coloured cardstock, then I would have to cut them in lots of colours to get that multicoloured look. The good thing about this die cut is it does have all those pieces within it. So if you don't have Copic markers, or if you didn't want to colour it with your pencils or paints or whatever other medium you've got, you have got that option with this particular die set, is that you can actually cut it out of all the different layers and still get that look. Because you'll notice me, I have to go kind of searching sometimes for my little bits and pieces, but most of them I've got within so I just actually put them all into a little bowl so that I could find them and I didn't have to go searching too far for them. I'm using a few different colours of Copic markers. This is me, I'm searching for a flower here. I found it. But I am actually adding that bit of shading even on these little flowers. I think it's just these small details that add so much to a card design. And I don't know about you, but BG11 would have to be my most favourite colour. It used to be BG10 in Copic markers until I got BG11, and seriously, there's not that much difference between the two, but for some reason I find that the BG11 just blends that bit easier. If you have one or the other, you've pretty much got the same colour. But I like BG11, it's so pretty. Now, I was sort of playing around with the colours here, and I originally was planning on, or thinking about having a pink head for my fish, but I did come in and change my mind because I had also die cut a base of my fish. Originally I did it in white, but I didn't want to actually inlay all the pieces. I didn't want this to be, now dare I say, too busy, because it is really busy and it is intricate. But I wasn't originally, I was thinking about doing a dark grey background on my fish, so I did actually cut one of those, but then I was actually toying with the idea of adding some Copic colouring to the white fish that you can see up there, and that way you'd be able to do, it'd be fun to do as well, you know, all those little tiny holes that I don't fill in with my little tiny inlay, with the little die cut pieces. I could have actually coloured those in different colours. I seriously had a blast putting this fish together. It's actually the first time that I have used this die, and I know that's really sad, but I've been so busy. I know. Go figure. I've been really busy lately, what with, you know, all the holiday season and working and making cards and videos, that I just hadn't had a chance. So this die was on my to-do list, and I'm so glad I finally got the chance to use it. Now I am using the matte medium here to adhere my pieces. You could use any of liquid glues, or you could even use a dry adhesive, or use adhesive behind your die cuts before you cut them. But I just find that the liquid glue just gives you that little bit of time that you can actually move your image around before you commit. And the good thing with the matte finish on the glues is that if you do move it a little bit too far, or the glue does squish out the sides, you won't see it when it dries. It dries a matte, not a shiny glue. I did decide to use my dry adhesive behind the body portions of the fish. I don't know why. Just felt like the right thing to do, and I didn't want to wait for the glue to dry for this. I know it does dry really quickly, but this seemed to work well for me. And the dotted adhesive works well if you've got like sort of die cuts, because it doesn't drag over the holes within the die cut. You can actually wipe them away because they're just dots of adhesive. How cool are these colours? How cool is this fish? It's so sweet. I didn't show you this piece I just sort of decided to colour up the eye to match the colours that I've used within the body of the fish. But you can obviously look at the little pieces within the die cuts and use as many or as few as you want. It's just heaps of fun. I think I already said that, didn't I? And for the tail of the fish, originally I was actually going to put like a die cut grey piece on the base of that, but then I just thought it needed that little bit more orange. Yes, needs more orange and more pink. And I was able to, because I used the Copics, I was able to actually do that with sort of an ombre and a bit of a shaded effect. So for my card itself, I wanted like a little watery kind of background. So I've got the Distress Oxide ink, and I'm adding that to some Bristol cardstock and adding heaps of ink with my blending tool. And then I've just come in with my water spray bottle, and then I can use a paper towel and just pick up those droplets of water, and it just removes some of that ink and gives it that real fun look. So the stamp set that I'm using today is Coordinating. It's also called Make a Fish, and it has lots of fun, bold sentiments. And this is actually the second time I created my front panel for my card, because I got ink on the other one. But anyway, so you get to see the second and better version. So I've stamped out my sentiment using the New Fish in Pond ink, and I'm using the Stitched Layers dies to cut a window within the frame. And then I can just adhere this panel to the, you know, that watery panel that I created. And normally I'd pop this up, but today I just didn't feel like it. And I have a landscape top fold card that I'm going to adhere this to, and just using my adhesive again. I'm using lots of adhesive. I probably don't need to use that much. I get a bit carried away. I love the ATG gun. Have heaps of fun with that. Now it's my friend and we've bonded. It's great. And then all I did was actually pop my little fish, and that's my finished card for today. So thanks for joining me. I've had heaps of fun. Don't forget to head through the links in the description below and you'll find all these great products and the links to my blog. I look forward to seeing you then. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.